It is springtime. We're deep into May. We have had some days where we've been in the 80s. We've also had some cool rainy days, but bottom line is we are into our runoff period where the river flow currently right where I'm at is over 8,000 CFS, and before long it's likely to bump up 2, 3, 4,000 CFS more even from where it's at right now. When we get increased water flows in the springtime, there's a couple things that can happen. One is that we're likely to pick up a significant amount of color in the water. And two is that most shorebound anglers, those that don't have access to a boat, just don't feel like they really have much opportunity to fish. And so today I'd like to talk about some of the techniques you can do during high water that will actually put you on fish when you're on foot. And to be honest, I actually prefer to be on foot a lot of the times in these conditions because it allows me to really pinpoint some key locations where the fish are likely to be concentrated. We're going to start out today doing some streamer fishing, and this is the time to pull out those sink tips. It's also the time when you can use the really big flies, the articulated stuff, the stuff that's got a big head that'll push some water. Brown trout this time of year are super aggressive. I think May is probably the best time of the year to target brown trout on big flies. And also, they're gonna have a better chance to see this in some colored water. So a couple things about fishing these big flies. Number one, you need a pretty aggressive sink tip. I'm running the Airflow Streamer Max, the Airflow shovel heads, or some of the Scientific Angler Titan tapers. They will definitely get the job done as well. And then a couple things about these flies too is when you're running the double hook rig, I really want to encourage you to pinch the barbs down, especially on the back hook. Fish will tend to take those real deep if they eat it from behind, and if they eat it from the front, sometimes that second hook will end up catching them in the gill plate or on the side. So definitely better on those fish if we pinch the barbs down. And I pinch the barb down on the top hook too, just because I want to just be kind on those big players. And then another thing about it is we are going to be banging around fishing some bouldery stuff. So I encourage you to carry a hook file. I always like to say there is no point in a dull hook. If this big fly has dull hooks, you are not going to be converting those grabs into landed fish. So definitely always carry your hook file. Another element to fishing these big flies is I use heavy leader material. Never less than 12 pound, but honestly when I'm fishing these articulated flies, I generally go with 20-pound fluorocarbon. It's gonna get your flies back when you hit them in the rocks. It's somewhat aggressive fishing. A lot of times you're gonna be hooking good-sized brown trout, in a structured zone where you need to bass them. You need to really put the wood to them. So no reason not to use that heavy tippet. You'll land more fish, you'll lose less flies, and we'll all be happy.